I don't know. We're trying to come up to Wood County a lot. Am I coming up enough or more? Someone should say more. I appreciate being here today. I want to tell you that I love coming up here, and I've always enjoyed it. Long before I ever ran for office, I had visited the area a few times, and I was so struck when I went to Blennerhassett Island and did a lot of walking around Parkersburg. It's such an amazing part of the state. So I enjoy coming up here, and we're working hard to do so many good things for the Mid-Ohio Valley, and that's why it's thrilling to be here today. We have some big announcements today, but more in the upcoming days as well. I can tell you that today we're going to talk a little bit about victims of crime and some of the monies that are coming in and the help we're trying to put in place to help people that have been really harmed so badly. And that really resonates with me because I used to serve as the state's attorney general, and it means an awful lot that we're always looking out for victims of crime. And grateful that you're here as well. You know about this every single day, and you've been a real leader in Wood County, Pat. I'm grateful. So I know early on in my administration, I made it clear that if you're going to harm a child as a parent or as a guardian, you're going to pay a heavy price, period. In May, I signed House Bill 2123, which increases the criminal penalties imposed on parents, guardians, and custodians who are found guilty of child abuse. We increased the jail time for the abuse of a child that causes injury from a 1 to 5 sentence to 2 to 10. For abuse causing serious bodily injury, we increased that penalty from 2 to 10 to 5 to 15. We made it clear, hang on. An aborted sneeze, I'm sorry, but thank you. For abuse causing serious bodily injury, we increased the penalty from 2 to 10 years to 5 to 15. And we made it clear that in West Virginia, we're going to look after our kids. We're going to look after vulnerable populations, and we're going to hold abusers accountable. Today, I'm proud that we're able to take that work and go one step further. Today, we're coming together to recognize a critical investment for the safety of West Virginians with the award of $16.3 million in victim of crime grants. This is really positive. This grant's going to fund 83 projects across West Virginia. The funds were provided by the U.S. Department of Justice. They're administered by the West Virginia Division of Administrative Services and also a lot of the folks within our Homeland Security Department. This actually represents not only financial commitment, but a commitment to ensure that every victim of crime has access to the help they need and the services that they deserve. We think that's important to step up. And right here in Wood County, we have some good news. We're pleased to share that this area will be among others and many in the state receiving its fair share of funds. The Wood County Commission, I know you always like that, you're going to receive more than $71,000 to employ a full-time victim advocate. You've got to like that. And an assistant victim advocate to serve more than 5,500 victims of crime. I think that's terrific, and I know that really matters. It's going to help the work of the prosecutor's office, help the work of the county commission, so terrific. Also, the Family Crisis Intervention Center, which covers Wood and Pleasance and Jackson and Tyler and Ritchie and a number of counties, $358,000. That's good stuff, and I wanted to mention that come up today. This is going to help in a lot of areas, provides direct monies for advocacy, for trauma-informed core services to victims and survivors of domestic violence, sexual violence, stalking, and human trafficking. But this is something that we're working on across the state, across West Virginia. Organizations, small and large, have a chance to use this funding to really help people in need. Money for counseling, money for forensic interviews, money for crisis intervention, for legal advocacy, emergency shelter, transportation, and ongoing support for victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, child abuse, and many other violent crimes. You know, I know from all across the state, we know that these funds are going to strengthen that network of support that's so important, that people rely on during their darkest moments. It's going to help kids find safety and stability, and we always have to be looking out for the kids here in West Virginia. I'm a big believer in that. And it's going to ensure that no victim stands alone in our criminal justice system. I've been a believer in that for a long time, and I know that this is going to really help. To every advocate, to every counselor, every law enforcement agency, every prosecutor's office, volunteer and service provider works tirelessly for victims of crime, I want to thank you for the work that you do every day. Your courage and commitment gives victims a voice. We're going to restore dignity. We're going to build safer communities. And we're going to let people know that we hear you. And we're committed to making your lives better. I think these grants are an investment in people's recovery. It's exciting to be here today. I think in West Virginia, we want to make sure everyone knows that there will be justice, there will be healing, and there'll be hope. So I'm grateful that you joined me today. I'm going to turn it over to see if our delegate here, Delegate Foggins, wants to say a few words. He's been coming, doing a lot of good work in this area and many others, and grateful for you here. You want to say a few words on this?
Well, I'd like to thank you for coming up again and spending time here in Wood County. And like I said before, I think we put together a good team and we're working together. I really appreciate all your work you're doing for our state.
Well,
appreciate you.
I appreciate it. You know, we were talking before we came in that you want to work closely with the delegates and the senators who want to put West Virginia first, right? I'll work with anyone who wants to put all the political nonsense aside and keep getting good things done for our state, right? I mean, that's what we have to do. And that's why I want to keep coming up to Wood County, too. I want to send a message. We want to work with the residents of this area. We want to make sure that you get a voice in Charleston. That matters. That's why I'm going to keep coming up and working with you, and I'm going to keep listening to what's on your mind and do the best that I can for the citizens of West Virginia. You know, while I'm here, I also wanted to update. I'm very hopeful that very soon we're going to be hearing from the administration on our BEAD application. When I have more information, I'm going to let you know, but this could be good news for the state, so we're going to wait. And I'm hopeful in the upcoming days I'm going to hear some feedback. We've been working hard on that. We've been also working hard on a lot of different economic development projects, trying to bring more jobs to West Virginia, and also working hard to make sure that the cost of goods and services is more affordable, more within reach for you. And we're going to keep doing everything we can on that front. And I think affordability, you're going to keep hearing that. I think West Virginians deserve a tax cut. And there needs to be more money in your pocket. It's your money. It's not the government. So we're going to keep showing respect for that. So you're going to see a lot of things in the upcoming days and weeks ahead that I think will be very good for the residents of the Mid-Ohio Valley. But I wanted to come today because I think some of the announcements for the commission and for that organization, that's good stuff for this area. And I want you guys have an open dialogue, an open line. Down there, let me know whatever you think I need. I think the people in this room, you all know you have a voice, and I'm here to help the Mid-Ohio Valley. So with that, I'm going to say thank you all for coming, and I'm happy to give the media time to ask any questions that they would like. Delaney, you're here from Charleston. I'm going to give you the benefit of the first question.
Thank you. So with Ruth Pharmacy closing, bigger businesses like Walmart and Walgreens are getting reimbursed more, but Ruth is having to pay more, and it's not helpful to small businesses or creating a friendly small business environment. So what can be done to fix that?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we can do, and obviously there's always going to be evolution in terms of businesses, but I know that we can make the regulatory climate even stronger, cutting red tape, and it's allowing small businesses to thrive. You know, a lot of times people have talked to me. I was an old regulatory attorney, and sometimes these larger companies would say they liked some of the extra regulation, right? Gives them a competitive advantage over some of the smaller companies. I don't think most companies don't. And folks know that I've been a warrior for cutting red tape. And I think that's part of it. You have to make sure that the playing field is balanced and that small businesses are not strangled with red tape, and that small businesses, large businesses, anyone that is in business in West Virginia is going to benefit from the red tape cutting system that we have. So I would say that we're having a lot of wonderful announcements that people have been seeing in recent weeks, right, in terms of the energy companies that are stepping up and the manufacturing jobs. That's positive. There's a lot more in front of us. A lot of big construction jobs. I think we've already announced over $4.7 billion over the last few weeks alone. We're not done yet. We have a lot more to do. But at the heart of it is how you can cut red tape and how you can move faster. So we want to make sure that that system, I want everyone across the country to know that in West Virginia, you can move faster, you can cut more red tape, and you're going to be treated very well. If you're a small business person, it's going to move like the speed of lightning, and that's what they need and that's what they deserve.
Since you've kind of connected the VOCA grant announcement to steps that the state is taking to help the child victims of crimes, I'm curious, going into the next legislative session, if you have any thoughts on actions they can take to address the kind of perennial understaffing in like CPS and health and human services.
Yeah, so we actually have been doing that. You've read about a report that came out before obviously it was before I became governor, the time period that they analyzed that. But we have been doing that. We've actually been filling a number of the vacancies for CPS, and we've brought new transparency to the system, new systems with respect to referrals, and you're going to continue to see, probably in the upcoming weeks, more announcements and updates of the importance of getting our CPS system to continually improve. I know that's been a big goal of mine. I think that we're making real progress, and I think even if you look at some of the audits that were done over periods before I was governor versus where we are now, we're light years ahead. I think that's positive. We're going to keep doing that, and obviously there has been progress made in terms of some of the hiring, and we're going to make sure sometimes it's not even just the total numbers, but it's getting the right people in these jobs and make sure they're being paid adequately. And so we're always looking for that, and we're going to continue to do that. I think fixing our foster care system, fixing CPS is really important, and that's why, look, I tried to hire a team of people who have expertise in this area, and they've been working to dramatically improve the transparency. I know it's a lot better than it was, but it's not going to be acceptable until we get to a place where, the numbers are so low that everyone knows that West Virginia's turned into a real success story, and I think we all know that. So we're going to keep working with the legislature, but I think you're going to see some news and some announcements on CPS and foster care to update people in the upcoming weeks. I know that our secretary announced some items a couple days ago after the audit from past years came out to show how much progress had been made. Any other comments?
You mentioned it before, but I'm not very familiar with it. What is the BEAD application? What are you applying for, and what would it do?
Yes, so this is the broadband. We're trying to bring broadband more to West Virginia, and we had applied for about 74,000 locations. These are the unserved locations now to make sure that we're closing that digital divide because West Virginia, we want to get our state fully connected, right? That matters. That's not just optional in terms of infrastructure in today's day and age. And so we're very hopeful that we're going to be able to get some positive responses from the administration. But, I'm not here to make an announcement on that today, but we've been working on it and we've been having good discussions with them. And so I'm very hopeful that we'll have some news to report. And that's going to help in some of the rural parts in Mid-Ohio Valley. I think that's great. Areas that have lacked some of the internet access in the past, I think that's going to improve. I'm charged, once that gets approved, there'll be a 4-year plan to have that build out occur, but it's going to happen. And we have a really detailed plan for that. and I'm excited about that. But I'm hopeful they'll have some more information. I just wanted to update people because it's a big initiative that we've been working on for a while. Broadband access is really important for West Virginia, and I've been determined to make that happen. And so I've been encouraged by the discussions I've had with the Trump administration. And I just want to let people know about that, and hopefully we'll have some good news to report very soon.
Ballpark figure, what's the coverage in the state now, and is there like focused areas that you're trying to get into or that you want to cover?
Yeah, it's the unserved areas. The original goal was to have a lot of the homes, the last miles that weren't hit before. And so I know that the application, don't quote me on the number, it's about 74,000 locations. And I think that's different from the past, because if a commercial carrier went out and built in an area, well, that obviously doesn't need the help of the assistance from the broadband program the same way. So I think we're looking at about the 74,000, and obviously that was what we applied for. We'll see what happens, but I'm excited about that because those are a lot of the last mile coverage. And West Virginia historically has been the lowest connected state in America. I think I read something that it was in the high 80s. It had made a lot of progress in recent years, which is good from some of the ARPA funding and the commercial funding that have been out there. But this could take it to a whole new level. Just if you added that 75,000, that's going to get to a lot of the remaining, if not all of the remaining unserved areas. It's not household, it's unserved locations that may exist. But if you're served, you're not going to get it, right? Because you already have it. Media? Oh. Okay. The what?
I just work at Reach, I'm the executive director.
Okay, sure.
So, down in the southern part of West Virginia.
Yeah.
Have a lot of problems with getting SANE exams for our children.
But getting what?
SANE exam is a sexual assault examination. And I was just wondering if you see in the future, VOCA funding programs a little extra so they can try to make sure that these examinations are able to happen and help us fund nurses who are willing to.
Sure. I'd be happy to take a look at that. If you have information we should look at, following up, I have my team here. We'd be happy to review that for you. And I know that there are some organizations, even at the announcements today, from down in McDowell and southern West Virginia, that really benefit from some of the monies we're putting out today. But if you think there's something, ma'am, that I should take a look at, I promise you I will if you get it to my team over there, okay? All right, any other questions from the media?
The state recently submitted its application for the Rural Health Transportation
Sure.
Fund. You had indicated that application would be made public at.
We will. We'll be making it public at the right time, and we've been talking with CMS and having some discussions. So I know that we are going to make it public, and I think that's important to do. But we want to make sure right now there's some pieces that are kind of back and forth, and we want to make sure we're releasing the final version. Okay. Any other? Well, I appreciate being here. It's a busy day, a lot of great things on the horizon, and we're excited to be up here again. I'll keep trying to come up more and more. I had a chance to spend a little bit of time at the South Parkersburg game a couple weeks ago, and then I saw South Parkersburg in the playoff game. So we're rooting on. I think you got a South Parkersburg basketball game coming up in January too. So I'm trying to keep on top of all things in this area. So I want to say thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it, and let us know if you need any help. Thank you, and God bless.